unsupervised learning is to restructure the input record into the new features or the set of objects with the same patterns. Cluster analysis may be used to form the groups or the clusters of the same records depending on the various measures which are made on these records. The key design is to define the cluster in ways that can be useful for the objective of the analysis. This data, it has been used in several areas. This cluster analysis, it has been used nowadays in several areas, may it be astronomy, archaeology, medicine, chemistry, education, psychology, linguistics, sociology, and almost everywhere. Let us take a very common example of Google. Google is an instance of clustering which needs unsupervised learning to group the news item depending on the contents provided to it. Google has a set of millions of news items written on multiple topics. So what does Google do? Suppose it is categorizing, or we can say clustering the content on the basis of news. So it will try to find out the items related to news and it will cluster them into different category. Like if the news is related to Mumbai, it will be categorized into that section. If the news is related to Delhi, it will be categorized into another section. So that is how clustering helps in making the various groups in case of Google. So Google is an instance of clustering which needs unsupervised learning to do various tasks, to categorize the news, to categorize entertainment services, to categorize some recent things going on, some upgradation in the fields of machine learning. So everywhere it is clustering the contents into different groups and it is making use of unsupervised machine learning algorithms. Next is the application of unsupervised learning. As I've just told that unsupervised learning nowadays, it is being used in almost every section. Unsupervised learning, it provides an exploratory path to view the data and allowing the businesses to identify the patterns in the large volume of data much more quickly when compared to the manual observation. If you will be provided with certain form of input data and that is a huge amount of data, not just few data, that is a huge amount of data that is provided to you, and you will be asked to identify the similar patterns in case of that inputted data. So that doing it manually will take a lot of time. So our unsupervised machine learning algorithm, they definitely help us in doing this task. Some of the most common real world applications of unsupervised learning may be, first of all, news section. Google News, it uses the unsupervised learning to categorize the articles on the same story from various online news outlets. For example, the results of presidential election, they could be categorized under the label of US News. Similarly, different section will be categorized into the label of India News, maybe some other country news. So there in the news section, we are definitely making use of our unsupervised learning. Second one, the very commonly used place, that is medical imaging. Unsupervised machine learning, it provides essential features for the medical imaging like image segmentation, they are used in radiology, pathology and everywhere, and they're being used to find the accurate pattern between the various forms of inputted data. So medical imaging is another field where we are using our unsupervised machine learning algorithms. Next, we have earlier also talked about computer vision. What is computer vision doing? It takes some visual data and then performs the task. Unsupervised machine learning algorithm. They're used for the visual perceptions of tasks like the object recognition. So these tasks will be helped a lot with the help of machine learning algorithms. Then we have definitely talked about anomaly detection. Unsupervised machine learning models, they can comb through various large amount of data and discover a typical data points within a data set. These anomalies, where are these anomalies being used? They are being used in case of faulty equipment, human error, or breaches in security. Like we can say for an example, if a person transfers some data from his bank account using online banking, he usually transfers the amount of 10,000, maybe 20,000, 15,000 within this range. Suddenly there is a transaction of maybe we can say 2 lakh or 5 lakh from his account. So that is a sort of anomaly. That means that is a sort of different feature. So during that time, our unsupervised machine algorithm, it learns to detect this anomaly, and this is of large help in case of this is going to be of large help in case of our machine learning algorithms. Similarly, if we want to categorize our faulty equipment or some kind of human error occur or breaches in the security occur. So everywhere unsupervised learning models, these can help us to analyze the anomalies. Next would be computer personas. Defining the computer personas, it makes it easier to understand the common traits and business client purchasing habits. So unsupervised learning, they allow the businesses to build better buyer personas profile, enabling the organization to align their product messaging appropriately. Like suppose a girl is doing online shopping. So what would she prefer to buy more? It may be the things related to some kind of dresses, some kind of accessories, some kind of makeup essentials. So she will be delivered the messages like on discount on this particular product, sale on these particular sort of dresses or these particular brands. She will be provided this kind of messages. An old man will not be needing this kind of messages. They will be of no use to that old man. So that there we are using these kind of algorithm to categorize, to cluster different kind of customers, and so this is helping a lot in today's world. Then we have recommendation engines. Unsupervised learning algorithm, they can help to discover the recommendation engines to develop more effective cross-selling strategies. We are using our recommendation engines. Like for in the Amazon, you find a section that you might like. That section will be provided to it. So there it will be recommending you the products according to your liking. So there we are using machine learning algorithms. Astronomical data analysis. Astronomers, they need high telescopes to study the galaxies and the stars. The design in light or combining of the light received from multiple parts of the sky, they help to recognize these galaxies, these planets, and these satellites. So there also we are making use of unsupervised machine learning. Then we have another one, market segmentation. Nowadays, the sales organization, it can cluster or group the users into multiple segments on the basis of their prior build items. For instance, a big superstore, it can be required to send an SMS about the groceries element specifically to its users of grocery rather than sending the SMS to all its users. So that is why it makes different clusters of different sort of users. And this is called market segmentation. We segment our market by classifying them into different users, and the messages will be provided only that particular cluster of people. If a girl is doing shopping, so the message related to that will be provided to her only, or that particular cluster of girls only. Similarly, if somebody is buying some grocery, so that will be considered a separate clusters, and the message related to the grocery will be provided to them, and so on it happens. It segments the market into different categories. Then we have social network analysis. It is conducted to make cluster of friends. You must have been using these social media platforms. So what does it do? It makes different cluster of friends depending on the frequency of connection between them. Such analysis reveals the link between the various users on the social networking websites. You will be provided if you are maybe working on Facebook or Twitter maybe. So what happens? If there is a friend of yours who has just joined that particular social networking platform, so she or he will be intimated to you into the friends column because she is linked to you via some friend. So that is where we are using these unsupervised machine learning algorithms. So these are the few applications where we can use unsupervised machine learning algorithm. Now comes the challenges of unsupervised learning. Obviously, it is categorizing or clustering the unlabeled data. So there are many challenges that these machine learning algorithm of unsupervised type face. While the machine learning, unsupervised learning, it has many benefits. Some challenges can occur when it allows the machine learning model to execute without human intervention. These challenges may be, first of all, it can be computational complexity due to high volume of training data. Today, so much of data it is being floating on the net every time. Even a single person, he is sending some WhatsApp messages, some videos, or receiving certain form of mails. So there is so much amount of data that is being floating nowadays. So there is obviously computational complexity due to this high volume of training data that this unsupervised machine learning algorithm they face. Second, longer training times. Obviously, since there is so much amount of data, the training time for that machine increases. Then there is obviously a risk of inaccurate results too, since we are having so much amount of data and it is all unlabeled. So there are chances of some inaccurate data also. Then human intervention can also be taken up in case of unsupervised learning. Then the last one would be the lack of transparency when this data is clustered. So these are the few challenges that our unsupervised machine learning algorithm face. So since there is so much amount of data which is all unlabeled, we do not know to which category this data will belong. Every time some data comes, it has to be clustered into different group depending on some kind of association, some kind of pattern. So that is why it faces a lot of challenge today when we are training our unsupervised machine learning algorithms.